Notice that we had named the controllers following a naming convention that would allow us to quickly identify where did this artifact live, right, and what was its responsibility. We should do similar things to the HTML templates as well, right? We should keep the name of its major responsibility, login. Then we should tell it, add in the name what is its role, right, in the architecture. So we could for instance, say that this is a view, right? Meaning this is meant to be consumed. This artifact is meant to be consumed by a human being, right? It's generating content. It has layout and styling, and it's making every effort to make itself usable by a human being. So that's what the name view means, and that it's being rendered on the client side as opposed to the server side. The server side could also render content, right? In PHP and JSP and ASP, the content is rendered on the server side, right? All these artifacts execute on the server. This HTML is meant to be rendered on the client side, right? So that's why it has the .client following there. Let's do similar for this one. So this is view client, and then register. There we go. And we'll need to re-update our configuration. This now says view client, and view client. Right? So if we refresh, there it is. Login still works. Login still works, right? The profile page, right? So notice that our URLs are virtual URLs, right? They don't map, right, to a physical piece of HTML document, right? That is being abstracted for us, right? It is the infrastructure that maps this particular URL pattern to an actual physical HTML snippet that is then injected dynamically. Okay? Make sense? But notice that there's a couple more things that we left undone. If we click on register, it's still connected physically to the navigating to the register page. Right? So if we navigate back to the login page, we'll see that we still have the vestige of that we were originally responsible for knowing where to go when this link was clicked. Instead, we want to delegate that to the centralized controller. We should never know where we physically go, right? There is a centralized controller that knows how to do that, right? It's our configuration. Our configuration knows that if it sees register as part of the URL, then it should navigate to this physical concrete view, right? So instead of using the actual physical location of the file, instead we use hash, right? Meaning we don't want to leave this page, right? And I am using the infrastructure's mechanism to read changes in the hash, yes? Bang, and then register. So now clicking on register navigates me to the register page. Right? Notice that the cancel from register has the same problem. Right? It wanted to physically navigate to the login page. So we need to fix that as well. In the register page, we're no longer going to physically refer to the login page. Instead, we're going to use the hash bang login. Right, so that if we are in the register page and we click on cancel, we're going to navigate back to the login page. See that? Okay. So register and cancel work, right? We click on register, it still wants to go to the profile page. It's not actually registering us. It wants to go to the profile page. So we can change that. It'll be hash bang / profile. But which profile? Which profile? If we click on the register, notice that it wants to go to profile, but we don't know whose profile, right? it should be the profile of the person who has recently registered, right? That person who has just registered. Okay? So we don't know how to do that just yet. For now, I'm going to hard code it with the ID of a user that already exists, right? That's, I believe 123 is Alice. Okay? So let's see if I refresh and click on register. It navigates to Alice's profile as if Alice would have just registered. And so Alice is the currently logged in person who just registered. We'll come back to that a little bit. Right? Everybody still with me? Okay. So what we need to look at is how is it that the login, the register, and the profile, how can they talk to one another? It looks like we already have a means of communication, which is the URL, right? That allows for us to communicate between the two. But we have a major flaw, right? In the controllers right now, we have the data being replicated in both controllers. See this? We have the array of users here in the login controller, and we have it replicated again in the profile controller. We need it both in both places. We need the data in both places because the login uses it to verify the username and password you typed, yes? Whereas the profile uses it to map the user ID to a particular instance so that we can display it in the form, yes? So in both controllers need this URL. I'm sorry, need this array. But we certainly don't want to do it this way, right? Of having this array copied in a whole bunch of places, right? Instead, we would use services to do that, right? So that's a perfect segue into services, right? So let's do that.